All right, welcome to another Crushing COVID Daily. Can you hear me okay? I don't know, can you hear me? This is like mandatory now. Can you imagine? They've made it mandatory that we have to wear these face masks, but only when we're in public. So a big announcement went out today saying that it's your obligation and mandatory that you do stay protected when you're in public places. So we have to do that. So yeah, I had to go out. I was walking down the street this morning, and I had a gentleman pull me over and say, "Where's your face mask?" It wasn't a police officer, but it was a gentleman. He's like, "Do you have a face mask? Go get a face mask." And yeah, it's interesting times. So hey, welcome to Crushing COVID Daily. I'm your host, Nathan Amaral. For this show, I am the creator of the Fearless Millionaire, and also the founder of Fearless Millionaire, but the creator of the Fearless Formula, which is a formula that helps real estate investors gain more clarity, confidence, and cash flow to help them break through some of the biggest barriers that they have in their life to help them move forward. So I'm so glad you're here, because this is a very unique time in the world. And by the way, if you are new here to our show, our Crushing COVID Daily Show, post new in the comments. That way I can say hello, and if you're new to us, would like to say hi and get to know you a little better, and that'd be great. Got a great topic for you also today. We're going to be covering some great tips and resources, some 5 great resources that every starting up real estate investor will need in their business. So I really can't wait to share this with you guys, because I don't want to say it's by popular demand at this point, but I'll tell you what, after all the years of experience that I've had in real estate investing, these tend to come up quite a bit. So I wanted to give you these resources so that you have the opportunity to start, get ahead of the curve, be ahead of, jumpstart yourself. Like if you heard in day 2, I think it was day 1, day 2 of this series, you should go check that out and hear how long it took me to actually get started in real estate investing. I went from seminar to seminar, but it took me a while to actually do my first deal. So go back to day 1. And if you want to hear the top 10 mistakes that most investors make when getting started in real estate, you want to check back to yesterday, day 4, and make sure that you can get into that so you can avoid some of these mistakes, and you don't have to go through them and make a big mess. So I know we got some birthdays coming up. I got a few requests of happy birthdays yesterday, but if you have any birthdays today, would love to know. I know today's Cinco de Mayo, so happy to everyone who celebrates Cinco de Mayo. I remember I think it was the last time I remember I celebrated Cinco de Mayo, I was actually wearing a big sombrero, and that was the last of it though. But that was a while ago. That hasn't happened in a while. So the that was that. It's me hitting them. Silly me. Yeah, I'll get used to this after a while. So good stuff. So today we're going to okay, so we have some news people. We are gonna dive right in. I have some great resources for you guys. Hey Elisha, welcome. By the way, if oh wow, that's really tiny. Let's okay, let me see if I can make that a little bigger. There we go. And by the way, like I said, if you're new to our Crushing COVID Daily Show, just post new in the comments. Or if you've been with us before, feel free to say hello as I go through it. I'm going to be diving in to 5 great resources when starting out in real estate investing. I got a mini presentation for you. And also, if you have any questions as I go through this, just feel free to leave the questions in the comments, and then I'll get to them at the end of the little brief presentation I have for you. I'm going to go through these 5 steps, and I'll get your questions answered as well. But before I do that, by the way, did you get to see the what do you call it? The trailer that I posted yesterday in day 4. Did you see that movie trailer? I recommended a movie that's really great, like for real estate investors. And actually, after yesterday's show, I texted a few of my real estate buddies and I said, hey, have you seen this movie yet? And they said, no. And I was like, what? I'm like, you gotta go check out this movie because it's phenomenal. It really is. I mean, you're gonna learn, I mean, it will give you not only inspiration, but it'll also give you some like ideas about, market segmentation and knowing about supply and demand and also negotiation. Really powerful tips on negotiation. It's inspiring, it's moving. Go check it out in day 4. I'm not going to tell you here, I'm not going to spoil it. Go back into yesterday, into day 4, and check out the trailer that is in there. And while you're there, you can also check out the 10 biggest mistakes investors make when getting started in real estate. Now, guys, I also wanted to give you an update on, you remember on day 3, I think it was, we were talking about fasting and intermittent fasting. Where's my life at? So if you haven't checked that out, go check it out. I think on day 3, where I talk about having more energy in business, right? Having more energy for your real estate business. There's one thing about this real estate business that can really give you a punch sometimes, right? It's a mental game, not physical punching, but this business is really about a mental game. It's not so easy all the time on the mindset, because I always reference that real estate investing is like a boxing match. You have to believe you're going to win going in, right? You have to believe that you're going to win the match before you get in there. And then you have to train. You have to train before you even get in the ring. And that's like, so you spend more hours training than you actually do when you're inside of the ring. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that amazing? So think about that in real estate. Like, you have to be prepared. You have to do more knowledge, right, before you actually get into the ring. Now, here's the thing, guys. You're always preparing to go. When you get into the ring, you've got to swing. You got to block. The blocks are the rejections. The blocks are the no's that you're going to get when you make an offer, right? The people that are going to call you names or say your offer's crazy. What were you smoking when you sent me this offer, right? I saw one recently. I can't post it here because there's too many explicitives. But one of the letters came back and it just said a bunch of explicitives on it, and it was really funny. But the reality is you have to know that when you're in that boxing ring of real estate investing, you are going to get punched. So take that as a no, right? But you also have to swing. You can't be afraid to swing. That's your making offers. Making offers is your swinging point, right? And you got to be zigging, zagging, ducking, got to move around those negative rejections, and then you're going to go for a few more punches. That is the same illustration I give in regards to real estate investing. And the reality is, when you step into the ring, you have to go in there believing you're going to win. Isn't that crazy? It's amazing. I love that illustration. One of my coaches gave that to me when I first started investing in real estate. So guys, I forgot to update you yesterday. My apologies. I forgot to update you yesterday when I started my intermittent fasting. So yesterday I did a 24-hour fast with no food. All I had was a salad. That was it. I had one salad, but the rest of the day was water, a little bit of juice, and that was it. And also boiled water. Boiled warm water is really good. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but also if you take warm water in the morning, it helps something with acids or amino acids or something like that. So you could do that also. But yesterday I did complete my 24-hour fast, and so that's it. I didn't get to show you the results of that, but I figured I would start again. Doing it again today. So it's 3:00 p.m. where I'm at. So I'm going to start another 24-hour fast right now. Boom, there it goes, right? And my buddy, no one in my group is fasting. By the way, guys, if you want a little bit more of a walkthrough on this, because I know I'm just sharing it right now in day 5, go back, I think it's to day 3, where I share how to get more energy. All right, so the fast is going. We got 24 hours on the clock there. And I'll come back to you tomorrow with, updates on that, okay? So one of the best things I love about intermittent fasting is the clarity it gives your mind. It's amazing. By the way, if you're watching this and you've ever done intermittent fasting, let me know. Put yes or no in the comments below, or if you've been interested in trying. I'd love to know. I'd love to connect with you that way. That would be really cool. Because I remember, I think it was back in early 2019, I was actually posting videos online about my journey of intermittent fasting, and it was like I didn't realize how many people were interested in it. I didn't realize how like, oh yeah, he started intermittent fasting. I'm like, wow, okay, is this a big thing? I did it just because of my health, you know, and that's why I did it. And whoa, awesome. Vamsi is on her second day of 24-hour fasting. That's awesome. Oh man, I'd love to know how you feel and your results. That's so cool. I'm telling you, it is really, really impactful. I'm so glad you're doing it because I'd love to know not only like a lot of people think fasting like, oh, you're gonna lose weight. Yeah, that's like a bonus. It's a bonus. But the best part of it is the clarity. Oh my goodness. Because it's like this, you know, the best way I think people, especially in the US, can relate to this is like Thanksgiving dinner, right? There's this whole thing like, oh, you eat Thanksgiving dinner, you eat so much and you want to go to sleep, right? Right? That's typically, but even if anywhere in the world, if you eat a large meal or you're eating a bunch, it just really slows you down. Like sometimes you want to go take a nap, right? Who's with me? Right? Sometimes you eat a big meal, you're like, oh my God, I'm done for the day. And I remember when I was in the mortgage business, I was faithfully, I was committed to having 3 meals a day, right? And you know, I'd eat breakfast at the local diner, and then I would meet up with my buddies at the office. We'd go out for lunch, and it would be like an hour lunch, and then we'd go, and then after that, we'd maybe catch something at night. So I was committed to eating 3 meals a day, okay, which isn't good. Then later on in life, what I realized is if I slowed up as many meals as I ate, I felt a lot better. And you know what's interesting? When I go to either speak on a stage or I'm doing a training with sales teams, or I'm doing a training with like a one-on-one with one of my clients, like an in-office training, I won't eat as much. I'll literally like have a banana and I'll have water. I'll have like some fruit, an apple and water. And the reason why, what I love is, and why I do that is because I feel like I'm more energized with less mass amounts of food in my body. I can think more clearly. So keep in mind to do that. All right. Okay. So I'm glad some of you guys are taking action on that. That's awesome, Bonzi. I'm so happy for you. That's great. Let's jump in. We're going to jump into the five great resources when starting out in real estate investing. This is really important stuff. Again, this is from my experience. I'm also going to show you a little bit of PowerPoint. Keynote. I don't use PowerPoint. We don't use PowerPoint around here. I'm going to show you a little bit of PowerPoint. It's like in my mind. I'm going to show you a little presentation on it, and then also I'm going to show you some websites that will match what I'm referring to. Okay, so I think we're good to go. Let's get to it. Let's see if we can do this. 1, 2, 3. I don't know. Did I do it? Can you see my screen? Not yet. What happened? Don't know. Let's try this. There we go. We did it. Look at that. I figured out how to do it. We're getting better at this, guys. We're getting better at this. Thanks for bearing with me. All right. Number 1, 5 great resources. Yes, I am going to be a little bit selfish here for a minute. Our website. What do I mean by our website? I want to show you that real quick. I want to show you the resources that we can give to you here. Right on our website. You can probably see that right here. If you go to fearless-millionaire.com, you will be able to get to this page right here up in the resources. So if I show you that right from the start where that is, okay, right in resources, let's wait for the internet. If you go over here to resources, you hit the drop down. Oh yeah, there we go. I don't know why the internet's going so slow today. If we go to real estate resources, you click that button there. Let's try this. It will take you exactly to this page. By the way, I am going to be updating this page here in the next few days. So if you come back to this, I've been talking to my developer who's going to jump in there. And what we're going to be updating here is a few new books. One of them was a recommendation from actually one of my clients who read, I forgot the name of the book right now. Oh, Never Split the Difference. Sorry, I read the book like in 2018. I forgot the name right now. But I said it would be a great read to have here. So when you get to this page, you're going to see the first thing is some books that you should read. With books you read, audiobooks you should get. Number 1, Crucial Conversations, Getting to Yes, and Exactly What to Say. Notice how all these books are in regards to conversations, right? Notice that. It's about conversations. Why? Real estate is so conversational based, whether it's on text, in phone, or email. These are really important things that you need to know in your business, and how maybe to speak, how to hold a conversation. Negotiation is the number one skill you need in real estate. Seriously, it's like a very important skill. Now, don't get me wrong. This doesn't mean you need to go take a class or like a full in-depth training on negotiations, because listen, I know a lot of people who have done deals and they're not that good at it, but you should have a good sense of flow. There's one line that I might just bring her on sometime, because there's a line in the book of Never Split the Difference, that talks about how to get someone's attention who kind of just stopped talking to you. Have you ever been in that situation where you start having this conversation with someone and all of a sudden you can't get them to follow up? Like maybe there's a deadline for a closing, or there is a potential buyer that doesn't want to follow up with you. So if you've been in these situations, or if you haven't been in these situations, they will come up in real estate. Okay, they will show up. The important thing is that how to have those conversations so that you don't get stuck with someone just kind of disappearing on you. That's another great resource in that book of Never Split the Difference. So we're going to be doing some updates to this site, but here is also some books that I highly recommend you read. You've probably heard me say in previous days that, especially right now, one of the books I highly recommend is The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. It's a great read also. These books right here are very powerful also. I talked about The Magic of Thinking Big the other day. Very powerful read. I mean, it's seriously, I've reread this book probably 4 times over the course of 15 years. It's really good. And it just gives you a mental knock in the head, just like a big punch so that you can actually, get realigned with the belief that, you need to think bigger. You need to do bigger things, but it starts with thinking bigger. In order to get to that point, you need to have a bigger mindset. So really a great read. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Dale Carnegie. Dale Carnegie writes a bunch of great reads. They actually have a training facility. They have a facility, but they also have a training around the country where they come and they teach you for 2 days. Guys, this is very powerful. Years ago, I almost became a Dale Carnegie trainer because I enrolled in some of these trainings. And let me tell you, they are very powerful. They have stuff for negotiation. They have a bunch of different trainings for leadership, public speaking, and all that stuff. And the one I went to was actually for what was it, public speaking? Yeah, it was called Train the Trainer. That's what it was, Train the Trainer. And they have a great training programs on that. So this is a great read, How to Win Friends and Influence People. There's a lot of great tips in here and how to make a friend, right? Because, in sales and in business, people want to do business with people that they like and trust. So you're going to want to learn how to do that, because if you can't make a friend with someone like quickly on the whim, it gets a little harder to do business. Like even if you go to a website these days, there's a way that there's a bond that takes place. Even if you're selling a service, there's like a hello, there's a greeting, there's a welcoming, right? Even if it's a welcome video or a little chat bot on the side, right? There's always that making a friend, finding a need. And that is talked about in that book. Also, The Strangest Secret. Guys, there's 2 books. One of them is not here because it goes a little bit deeper. And I know that's usually not for everyone sometimes, but The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale is a great read or listen to. I've bought this book like 6 different times. I'll tell you how. I've bought it on the book, the physical book. I have like the 80s version or 70s version. It's like an old book. It smells like paper. That one I have like stored in a storage place. And then I have the audio book. And then there was a time I actually sold it since then, but I had the audio CDs and now I have the audio book. But man, just listening to Earl, the way he says things, and this is a great listen. The Strangest Secret is a really great read. But guys, I'm going to give you one more book. You're going to have to write this down. I didn't put it in here because it's a little bit deeper. It's a little bit deeper. It's to the point where like you really start, let's put it this way, you start thinking about your life in a whole nother dimension. Like you start viewing business not just a transaction for money. You start thinking about business on a whole nother level. First yourself on a personal level, but then business is like just a way to solve problems, help people. It helps you identify that there are so many more people with problems that you can solve. And once you realize that business is all about solving problems, you generate so much more money. But here's the thing, this book I'm about to tell you, write it down. It's not a business book. It's actually a personal development book, but it helps to open up your mind to see that there is something greater within you. And that is what builds so much more confidence. Get ready. The name of the book is The Secret of the Ages by Robert Collier. The Secret of the Ages. It's such a powerful book. I mean, it's transformational. I don't really talk about it too much online because not many people are into that. Like when you say, like some people, when the movie came out, The Secret, I mean, it was really big with Oprah, but the reality is a lot of people thought it was like hosh posh and all that kind of stuff. But The Secret of the Ages dives a heck of a lot deeper. And it actually doesn't, it was written way before the movie The Secret came out, okay? So definitely go check that out. It's really important. All right, guys, so let's get back to our what I recommend also is for podcasts. For podcasts, I'd recommend, a little bit. Here we are again. Shameless plug, Nathan. There you go. Talking about your Fearless Millionaire. Yep. Get on the Fearless Millionaire podcast. We typically have regular updates and trainings on there. You can hear some interviews from people that I interview. And also, you're going to get more of a different side. We don't talk too much real estate. We talk a lot about clarity and confidence on the podcast. Also on Carrot Cast. Now, Carrot Cast is a great marketing podcast. It's about marketing for your business, a lot of online digital marketing for your website. Next is Bigger Pockets podcast, a great podcast to listen to. It's a no guru zone podcast. That's what I love about those guys. Brandon's a good friend of mine. Also, building your network, Bigger Pockets and Connected Investors. Guys, there's a whole bunch on this website. I just want you to get over to it because all these resources are free and there's a bunch of recommendations down there that I highly recommend that you check out because it will help you build your business. All right, well, let's get to number two. Number two, Bigger Pockets. Look at that. Great resource. But now I'm going to give you an in-depth look of what Bigger Pockets is, okay? So let me jump over to that and get you on to Bigger Pockets here. All right, so I want to give you an overview of Bigger Pockets. First of all, let me tell you why I love Bigger Pockets. Bigger Pockets, number one, is like this no hype zone about, the next best thing of real estate, right? Right? I have the secret that's going to change your life in 30 days or less, right? There's none of that in Bigger Pockets. And that's one of the things when I started connecting with Brandon and David Green and everyone in the crew over there, Mindy, sorry, I'm forgetting names here, but just a great crew. And everyone, there's kind of like this world of like Bigger Pockets and then everything else, right? And the reality is that when you are in this community, by the way, there's over 1 million people in this community. And I would say maybe like 30, maybe 50% of those people are like active, right? They have like over 1 million members. Maybe let's say 50% of those are active. Well, that's a lot of people. That's like 500,000 investors all around the country. And again, these are like active investors. The good thing about this group too is a lot of people who are actually doing the business. You're going to hear all different kinds of people doing the business. They have interviews on their podcast, like I mentioned earlier, but also inside of the Bigger Pockets, there's a lot of resources. I want to dive a little deeper into these resources. One, they do have forums. The forums are a really powerful place because you can see what people are posting and read about what's going on. But you should also take advantage of this yourself because this is really a valuable place, such as you can hear and discuss different things like, their different strategies, syndication and investing during the recession. So if you're raising money during the recession for apartments or multi units, that's there. People will talk about all different kinds of things, and you can either break these down to how popular the posts are and all that kind of stuff. You can also do a search. It's really important that you search rather than just browsing all through it. Look for something very specific and then jump into a forum about it. And you're just hearing people talk about different insights. So let's talk about, let me just dive in just to show you what it would look like. I don't know if there is, there's 144 replies. So you can see what an inside of a post looks like. So someone asked the question, and by the way, if you're wondering what this is, see how Brian Burke, he's a pro member. There's different levels. There's a free version, and there's different levels of membership, and that gives you different perks, Bigger Pockets perks along the way. But you can actually see how active someone is in the group. So Brian, you're going to get a bunch of views here today. Might get some new friends. But as you can see, Brian has posted over 2,000 times. He's had over 5,000 votes. He has 31 years of experience and 23 investments. And I'm really glad Brian's that active. And if I wanted to connect with Brian, I could easily just connect with him. I'll tell you what, my profile is not that busy and I don't add that much to it. I use BiggerPockets in a much different way. I'm not really active on the forums. I personally like to read through things sometimes and see what's cooking, but I'm not really that active in forums. And that's kind of been my whole life. I'm not really a forum guy. And actually, one of my friends is actually kind of breaking the mold on me to get me more active in forums or at least Facebook groups and stuff like that. It just hasn't been my way for a long time. As you can see here, Jay is a premium member, and a premium member, gosh, Jay looks like he lives in here because he's got 32,000 posts, 43,000 votes, 45 years experience, and 3 investments. Now, guys, I want you to keep in mind too, because I can relate to this. Just because someone posts 3 investments doesn't mean they only have 3 investments. That's 3 investments, maybe, or in this example, some people don't post any. I don't post my investments on BiggerPockets. I'm more of a private guy, so I don't like to share everything I got going on. Some people do, some people don't. It's entirely up to you. Some people use that as a credibility factor, but for me, I don't need a group to be verified. I'd rather do it on a phone call. I'd rather do it in my executive summary if I'm buying a property. I'd rather show it in a business plan. I don't need to, flaunt that on a forum. Okay, but not to say that's a bad thing. Some people use that to their advantage. It's whatever you want to do, whatever you feel comfortable with. They do have a lot of education, which in there. Networking, guys, this is a really powerful thing. Like you've probably heard me say before, that building a network will increase your net worth, right? It's really important. So in here, you'll be able to get real estate agents for both, residential and commercial. There's probably a little bit more residential because BiggerPockets has a group. Definitely groups are in there for commercial, but they tend to talk a lot more about single family real estate. And for example, you're not going to find a whole lot of self-storage people in there, but jump in there no matter what strategy you're doing and jump in there. You can find contractors that they recommend, hard money lenders, companies, investment companies, all that kind of stuff. And that's in the network. Also tools. They have these calculators. You can use them for free, I think up to 5 times. And then after that, you got to get a membership. And then you could do a rental property calculator, fix and flip, the BRRRR method, which off the top of my head right now is buy, rehab, rent, repeat, or something like that. I think I almost have it. I'm forgetting right now because I'm on the spot. But it's about buying or rehabbing it, renovating it, renting it out, and repeating this process. They have a rehab estimator, wholesaling, knowing about the 70% rule, also Airbnb, because that's grown in popularity. They also have these other things of landlord resources and lease agreement packages, and they break it down per state. So if you needed like contracts for that specific state, that's really important, guys, by the way. I think many people kind of forget this part, because when you got to be very careful with contracts that you get from like a home study course, okay? Because those contracts are very general and they're not state specific. Remember, every state has its own jurisdiction and every state has different laws. So the reality is that you need state specific contracts, okay? And I'm going to get to that just a little bit. Bear with me. Let's wrap up here about BiggerPockets. There's a whole bunch more. You can post your deals. You can find deals from other investors in here. You can actually even find ads and post jobs if you're looking for a partner, or you're looking for an acquisition manager. Whatever you need in your business is there. They also have a bookstore. You can get a whole bunch of books on there. You can also go to Amazon too. And then they have an upcoming conference, but who knows if that's happening at this point. So you get the point. I mean, BiggerPockets is loaded with a bunch of different resources here. It's one of the best, truest memberships communities that I have ever experienced, that I can say is really good. So jump in there as well. And by the way, you can connect. It's kind of like a social media as well. There's messages back and forth. I've connected with a lot of people. Someone just messaged me the other day. You have an inbox, you have notifications, announcements. Someone just inboxed me just the other day and asked me, one, not only to be, Paul Moore asked, to be a colleague request, but I had someone saying, hey, I really like your website, because in my profile, I just have my website. And if people want to learn about me, they can go to my website. And so that keeps it simple for me. So there's some people who will connect with you that way. Whatever it is, you can meet people that way, and build up your network, which is a really powerful thing. So the next thing I want to show you is number 3 is Rocket Lawyer. Rocket Lawyer. And this kind of is a continuation to what I was just referring to a little bit ago about state specific contracts. Okay, first I got to tell you the most important thing. And by the way, right now I would take a water break, but guess what? I don't have any water. But I only have like 13 bottles of empty bottles over there. So here's the thing. Listen very carefully, because this strategy right here, this is in my best tips guide about real estate investing. One of the best tips I share with every real estate investor is this: your best contact, your closest, most important contact in your real estate business are your real estate lawyers. And whenever I say this comment, people are like, wait, what? No, they're expensive, right? I get all these excuses. But the reality is, I'm going to tell you why, okay? Your best contact is your real estate lawyer because of multiple reasons. Number 1, you need protection. This real estate is a legal game. You're signing contracts for property, right? That alone needs a real estate lawyer. So here's the thing. This is what I love about Bigger Pockets, is because Bigger Pockets just cuts it to straight. And I'm going to give it to you straight also. If you ever get a home study course that gives you a contract that says, oh yeah, we'll provide all the contracts, that's baloney, because every state is different, and you need to have your attorney either draft it, review it, or update it, or and get protected. You need protection in real estate, especially in the United States. The United States is like, you guys are very, what do they call it? Litigious? I don't know how to say the word. I forgot how to say the word right now, right? But you guys are in a sue-happy country. Like, the United States is a sue-happy country. People just start randomly suing for anything, right? So I'll never forget the time I was delivering bread with my dad, right? And we're walking into this Stop and Shop, which is a grocery store in New England. So we're walking into this grocery store, and out of nowhere, it wasn't even snowing. Okay, it wasn't snowing. It wasn't water on the floor. All of a sudden, this person just walks in and does this weird flippity flop and bangs their head. And I'm like, what just happened? It looked fake. And actually, there have been many claims like that. But anyway, that's besides the point, right? I'm just sharing my point. Even if you're in rentals, think about this. If you're in rentals and you have tenants on your property, guess what? Well, I tripped and fell over the railing, or this happened, this was loose, blame the landlord, right? So you have to protect yourself. Now, here is, again, I want to show you a solution to a certain extent, but you should always have a real estate lawyer. I'm going to show you a solution. I'm also going to tell you a little bit more why you should have a real estate lawyer. But first, let me show you this solution. And what I love about Rocket Lawyer, I'm going to introduce you to Rocket Lawyer, because not only can you do some basic things of like starting a business documents if you like to do it yourself, that kind of stuff. You could also have a company, a third-party company, do that. If you want to do like protect your ideas, maybe you want to create a trademark or a patent, you can do that all through here as well. You can get divorced. You want to get divorced? It's right here. It shows you how to do it. No, work it out. Go to counseling. But you know my point. Planning your estate, buy or sell your home, lend money, whatever it is, you can easily do contracts right here. The most important part about this is, where is it? Is it around here somewhere? Should have it right here. Exactly. Pick the state. This is very important because every state's a little different. So when you select a state and then you, this is setting up a company, but when you're logged in, it's going to ask you like, let's protect our idea. I don't know if it will do it right here on this screen, but the whole idea is if you're drafting a contract, it's probably not going to do it right now. Yeah. When you're logged in and you go through it and you set up a contract, it's going to say what state is the contract for. That's really important. So this is great for maybe basic contracts and stuff. Some people like to self-close on their real estate. I don't recommend it when you're starting off. but you can do that also. There's a bunch of different documents that are here that are provided to you, such as eviction notices. Maybe you don't want an attorney to do that. You could draft one here yourself. Save a little money that way. Maybe you're going to craft a living will. You can do that. Quit claim deed. All that stuff's here. Another powerful thing too is you can get advice from a lawyer. So if you're working remotely, let's say you're investing remotely in a different state, you can easily get advice right from a lawyer right on here. And you can have a chat communication. And it's not like the whole chat and communication is free. It's part of the membership, which is really nice. However, now I'm going to give you another side of it because I want to tell you how I do it and the reason why I do it. Because this is a good resource, but it's not what I think the end all be all. And I'm going to take you to another level here. So let me explain to you why I do this strategy, what I'm about to tell you, okay? The reason why I don't lean too much on these services too much for every type of transaction, and why I use Rocket Lawyer instead of a lawyer all the time, right, is for multiple reasons. Number one, I want to build my network. I want to also know someone to protect me in that state because it's a real estate transaction. Most people think that when you're hiring a real estate lawyer, you're thinking, oh, I got to come up with a big amount of money and a retainer. No, that's unless you're under litigation. If you're in litigation, yes, a lawyer is going to ask for a retainer, but that's if you're like dealing with a defense or a prosecution, that kind of stuff. Real estate lawyers, in real estate, everyone gets paid at the closing. So a real estate lawyer, when you're going through a real estate transaction, they get paid at the closing. So everything you're working on with them comes up until the billing point. Now, what I also hear from a lot of real estate investors when I tell them this strategy, like go make a contact with a lawyer in a different state, if they don't have a relationship, that lawyer will say, well, I'll look over your contract. I'll look over your document. Sure, no problem. Here's my fee, right? And they'll get billed for reviewing a contract. Listen, the first time you're doing business in that state, okay, build a relationship. Pay for the service fee. Yeah, I know sometimes it could be $200, $400, $500 sometimes to draft a contract. But guess what? You just got one for that particular state, which you can reuse again if you need to, right? So that's really important. What's more important is the relationship. What a lot of people don't realize, except I'm thinking of one of my clients right now who built such a great relationship with his lawyer, one of them, that he actually took a property. He helped his lawyer with a property that the lawyer had on his hands. He helped him out, rehabbed it, turned around and sell it, and they split the profits. Now, of course, not every lawyer is going to be in real estate, but here's the thing. When you're in real estate, one, you're going to deal with a lot of lawyers. Two, that's a high net worth individual, like an accountant, CPA, doctor, chiropractor, right? You're going to need more high net worth individuals as you build your life and business. And by the way, you're going to want to build your sphere of influence anyway. You want to be around people. Listen, if you hang out with people who only make $10,000 a year, okay? Now, $10,000 is definitely poverty line, okay? But if you hang out with people who only make $10,000 a year, guess what the mindset is going to typically be if they're not into entrepreneurism and growing their life? Like they're just happy living that income and that's it. Well, guess what you're going to get? You're going to get that mindset all the time, because oftentimes a mindset will be a direct impact on maybe their lifestyle. Not everyone, not all the time, but keep this in mind, especially if you're in business. If you're in business, network, net worth, birds of a feather flock together, those kinds of things. I'm not saying money has to be the exact indicator for every human being, but there's a truth to that, because how do you track results? In the numbers, right? So it's like, for example, if you have someone who wrote a book and is a bestseller, right, and you're an author, all of a sudden you're like, well, how many books did you sell? Right? People care about numbers, right? Just like if someone's watching a video on YouTube, for example, and they're like, oh my gosh, that musician video got 30 million views, right? You understand? So numbers do matter to a point, not to belittle someone and say, oh, you don't have that many people in your life, you don't give people a chance. No. That's not what I'm referring to. So you get my point. I digressed there for a minute, but the point is that you want to build your network with your lawyers, because that you could potentially do deals with them. When I go into, I have a program where I go into my client's hometown. Okay, I call it in the field training. Okay, I've been doing this for like 10 years. I'll go out to my client's area. I'll show them properties, what to look for. We'll do walkthroughs. I'll show them we'll walk in through multiple properties. We'll say, okay, this is a problem, what to avoid, what to look for, those kinds of things, right? I'll also show them how to build a power team, which is very, very important. So what I do is I book appointments with them with a few attorneys and title companies in the area. One of the conversations and I always bring up when I'm on in the meeting with the attorney all the time, I always say, oh, it's great to meet you. We kind of do an interview. We're in the market. Listen, I'm not going to give you all my secrets right now. But I don't want to overwhelm you. But the reality is what I do is I build a relationship and I ask the attorney, hey, would you be interested if we bring you a deal? Are you interested in buying real estate or expanding your portfolio if we brought you a deal? Every time the lawyer says, oh, sure, absolutely. Gosh, none of my other real estate guys have asked me that. I hear it all the time. Okay. And you can catapult that into raising money as well. Yeah. That's a golden nugget right there, guys. I'm giving you some of my little secrets. Don't tell anybody. Just don't tell anybody. Okay. All right, let's go. We don't have much time left, guys. We don't have much time left. We got to keep this show moving. All right, we got Rocket Lawyer. Check them out. Next is, I know I have a slide for it, but next is Investopedia. Investopedia. All right, Investopedia is a place that you can learn about what's currently happening in the markets. Yes, you're going to get a little bit of the stock market. You can already see you got the main ticker right there on the top. That's not what we're really talking about most of the time here. It's mostly real estate. But they also have a lot of education. One thing I really like about Investopedia is they've done a great job. They've done a great job at glossary or terminology of real estate. Okay, so if you want to learn more about, you can learn more about stocks, bonds, mutual funds, EFTs. You should know this, by the way. Even if you're not like fully invested. For example, if you have a 401k, you should at least know how it works. Advantages and disadvantages. If you're an investor, you better start getting educated on these things. So those are some simple things that you can start learning about, but also they have a dictionary. Really, I really like their dictionary because when you start getting into real estate, you're going to want to get a little deeper into the different terminology. There is a whole plethora. This is my favorite part about this website, guys. It's not so much about the stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, what's happening in the market. Yes, you will get updated news as well. And also, by the way, if you go back to the Fearless Millionaire website and the resources, down at the bottom of that website, I do also provide great real estate investing news websites on there that are great for real estate investors. So this will give you a bunch of different terminology and glossary. I recommend going through this on a regular basis so you can expand your vocabulary. Remember, money and real estate is another language. Money has its own language. Like you learn English or whatever other language. I know Portuguese, I know Luganda. It's a different language. And money has its own language. So does real estate investing. It has its own language. Just like law, real estate law has its own language. And if you don't know the language, then you're going to sound incompetent, and that's not good. So you want to know the language. By the way, this does not mean just because you don't know the language, you don't know all the glossary, you don't know every freaking word out there. That doesn't mean that you do not start in real estate. Does that make sense? You don't have to know everything. This is a lifetime self-education, my friends. This isn't, I don't know everything about real estate. I don't know every glossary word. I don't know every term. Then I can't get started in real estate investing. No, that's not what you do. That's overeducation, oversaturation. Don't do that. Anybody who tells you that, they are probably trying to sell you a glossary. So don't do that. You need to get started slowly. It's okay if you don't know everything about real estate as you go along. You will learn along the way. So I mentioned Investopedia, great resource. I like the glossary. Number 5, QuickBooks, great resource. Guys, it's a must-have. It really is. And look, they're having a sale, 70% off. But QuickBooks is a great resource for your business. It's one of the most important parts. It's accounting. Listen, I hate accounting. I hate accounting. I can remember all the times I had to go through accounting class like 2 times. just because of debits and credits and all that stuff. That's what everybody remembers, right? Some people love this stuff. Some people love number crunching and doing these, balances and all that. But here's the thing. When you're starting off in real estate and in a business, okay, just in business, most important thing is you got to track all this stuff. And one of the most powerful things that I really like about QuickBooks is their mobile app. Because whenever you have a business receipt, you can literally take a photo, you scan it into the QuickBooks app, and it saves it and it docs it. Oh, and it's such a beautiful thing for your CPA and stuff like that at the end of the year when you're filing. It's really great. Now, they have a bunch of options on here. Check it out. You should have it. My recommendation, this is Nathan's recommendation, is the QuickBooks Online, because you can access it anywhere. And even if your computer crashes, you don't lose the data. Years ago, people would always have QuickBooks software. They'd buy the disk and put everything on their computer, and their computer was their database. Very risky. So what I'd recommend is using QuickBooks Online, and then you can have it all uploaded into the cloud, and you can access it from anywhere on your tablet, on your iPad, on your iPhone, or on your desktop, either way. Really powerful resource. Guys, those are my 5 tips for great resources. If you have any questions about those along the way, by the way, even if you're here after our live, want to just let you know, you can post comments. I saw comments coming in from the previous days. People were leaving comments after the video. That's okay too. It's no problem. I'll get back to you. I'll chat it up and get those questions answered for you. Guys, if this was helpful to you, let me know. Give me a thumbs up, or put any questions you have. By the way, I don't see any other questions right now. So if you do have any questions, post it in there. But if this has been helpful to you, you can let me know. If you want to see more trainings like this as we go through the CRUSHIN COVID experience, let me know. We have another, how many days do we have left, guys? I mean, how many days? We have, I think, let me check here. How many days? We're in May 5th. We're in Cinco de Mayo, right? We're in Cinco de Mayo. And yeah, we're about another 25 days of crushing COVID. So I want to put it out there to you that if you have any suggested topics that you want me to cover, I did get a few emails, by the way, from when you guys emailed support. I don't know where it is right now. I don't know where that link is when I need it. But I did get a few emails from you guys about different topics you want us to cover in the future. We are going to get to those, not a problem. I just want to prepare and deliver that properly for you. But if you do have any, just throw it in the comments below about different topics that you want to hear specifically to help you out. And we will put that in our lineup and get it over to you. Guys, it's always a pleasure coming to you. I enjoy it. Thanks for participating and being along. I'll see you real soon, okay? Take care.